Welcome back to the Better Every Day podcast, where we are unlocking our best self one episode at a time. My name is David Garcia, and no, I do not have my regular co-host today because today is episode 36, and today is a very, very special episode. As you guys see, none of these are my wives, but these are very special guests, and the reason why is because these are the OGs. The OGs of what, you might ask? Well, you guys see the medals. The OGs of, these are my fitness friends. These guys are my guys that we started a beautiful friendship with. We all have younglings, we all have wives, and we all hang out. And yeah, this is a amazing special episode because today we are talking about fitness. We're talking about Spartan races. We're talking about half marathons. We're talking about full marathons. We're talking about all these crazy things that we've been getting into. And yeah, this is my beautiful soul of a friend, Sam Garcia.
Hello.
It's amazing to have you, dude. And this is my beautiful friend, Danny Roca.
Hello.
Very beautiful.
Very, very beautiful. Yeah, so we are missing one person, and his name is Jonathan Gomez, and you'll see him pop up right now.
Yeah, buddy.
Say hi, Jonathan.
Hi, guys.
All right, say bye, Jonathan. Bye. All right. Yeah, so the reason why we're doing this, I believe this is a very important topic for men, for women, for anybody really. But, you know, we got three guys here. Should have been four. But we kind of did this journey together. We've been doing this journey together, and we recently just did our last challenge, like 5-6 days ago. And these guys thought it would be a perfect time to do this episode right after we did the biggest challenge that we've done so far. And the biggest challenge that we did so far was the Spartan 21K Beast, which is 13.8 somewhat miles, 30 obstacles. And the miles are not really nice miles. They're very messed up terrain.
Very cruel.
Oh, yeah. There was hills, hiking. There was a lot of craziness. And that's the latest thing that we did. But we did it together. And we all kind of just signed up. And so I think what is the best place to start at the beginning? So I guess I'll just say a little bit like we met through a Connect that Jonathan Gomez and his wife, Priscilla Gomez, opened up. And had it not been for that Connect group, we would have never met probably.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. I remember we met the Gomez, and then we met you guys. We met you guys first at church, and we just became a family.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it wasn't for that Connect group, we would have never met. And not only that, but I'm not like a very like, I guess if we could just be blunt, like I'm not a very friendly person.
Hard to deal.
And my wife had to kick me in the butt and be like, go talk to them. And I remember, I mean, this is a little off topic, but I remember the very first thing that Sam asked me was, how much sex do you have, dude? And I'm like, holy smokes.
Well, yeah, for me, it's always like that. Like I knew you guys had 2 kids. So I was like, okay, I need to learn from these people. So once we become friends and, I like to ask those questions, like I want to learn from you guys. I'm always open to learning new ideas and everything. So I'm like, yeah, I can learn from these people. So I'm going to hang out with these ones. And that's what I do. I surround myself with A+ people because all of you guys push me to be better. Yeah. So that's how we started. And
from that first conversation that we had, I feel like we stayed talking for a while, right? That one night, we stayed talking for at least 1 or 2 hours. And the conversation felt like great, honestly.
Like we knew each other for so long.
Yeah, yeah. And like we were all being pretty open. We were talking about, I mean, obviously sex, and this guy went deep into the topic. He loves the topic of sex.
I mean, we just have like open minds when it comes to I mean, like I said, like all of you guys had bigger families. So I was like, man, how is it gonna be when we have 2 kids?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I better learn now. I'm gonna ask those questions, you know.
Yeah.
And ever since then, you know, we always had the open friendship where we share our struggles, we share our, you know, daily life struggles, you know. So I don't feel any, you know, I don't feel shy share with my friends what I deal with,
Yeah.
you know, daily.
And what I loved about how upfront and blunt, you kind of reminded me of Grace, and we've talked about this on previous episodes, where the first time that I told Grace that I liked her, she was like, here's like 100 questions. And she was like open and blunt. She just like put it all on the table. I feel like that's what you did. You were just like, all right, let's just put it all on the table. You're either comfortable with this topic or you're not. If you're comfortable, we're going to be friends. If you're not, get out, you know?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. And it was great. And the one thing that I noticed, especially out of you were all like, oh yeah, let's work out. And like, I love working out. And like, I remember like, I mean, I think we all know Sam to be very, he's always got a tip.
Sexy.
Yeah.
Buff.
But he also has a tip. You say anything about working out, this dude's got like, oh, like, I think you should do this and blah, blah, blah. And I read this and I heard that and da, 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 da. And I remember we did get into that topic that one day. And I think it was that same night, right? That you had the idea of doing like a 5 a.m. run?
To go run at 5 a.m.
No, before that, we did the push-up. The push-up thing. Remember, you and I did 60.
Oh, yeah?
And you're like, well, I could do more, but, you know, I'm not going to let my ego, you know, I'm just going to do 60 like you know. Do you remember that?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Do you remember the push-up? Yeah, at the Gomez.
That was the same night?
Yeah. Yeah, like we were just talking about.
I don't remember that challenge.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. I kind of faintly remember.
Okay.
And then I guess, there was that night that you got that Danny, you were like, hey, let's go for a 5 a.m. run. And I'm like, heck no, I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. to go run. At that point, I wasn't even working out, I think. Maybe I might have been going to the gym, but I don't think I was even really like hard.
None of us were working out, bro.
Yeah.
And that for me, but plus like I don't work out. And at 5 a.m. I'm like, nah, like I'm not doing this. But you guys ended up doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
With Jonah.
Well, the whole purpose of it was that we were going to go and have some like guy talk.
Yeah.
You know, because the girls were pushy. They were like, oh, just go make some guy love, whatever.
Okay.
You know, so I was like, okay, yeah, let's do that. You know, everybody was going to like, oh, I look big. I love doing this. I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
You know?
And I remember you opened up a lot. Like we all did with Jonah.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
we talked. I think we just we ran for like 20 minutes and we were just talking.
Yeah.
You know, it was actually good.
And that has been, I think, a good bonding for all of us. Like when our wives allow us to have time together.
Yeah.
You know? And
I know.
I feel like we always just like, here's what's going on in my life. And then we're all like, hey, maybe this could help or this could help. And like, we've always been pretty open, especially with having Sam on the team. Like he's like, again, he'll just like rip it wide open. Like, let's talk about this.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
And so that's always been great. But I think that was the moment that the whole like fitness thing I think started with us.
Yeah.
So really, Danny, you opened that can of worms, bro.
Yeah.
Good. I'm
With
proud
the
of it.
5 a.m. with the 5 a.m.
I'm proud
running.
of it. I mean, you were a biker.
Yeah.
So we thought,
Yeah.
okay, he's gonna pull this guy into like wanting to run.
Yeah.
But the timing was not good for you.
No, because at that point, like I just kept saying over and over again, I'm like, I'm not a runner. Like,
And you were like, why not a 6 or 7?
yeah.
Why
That's the
a
other
5?
thing too. I'm like, buddy, just give me my 8 hours and then we can go running. But then from that moment on, I think it was Sam that you said, hey, we should do a Tough Mudder.
Yeah.
And I think we were all like just like high on our like friendship and be like, yeah, that'd be awesome. Like that'd be a cool adventure. And so we signed up for a Tough Mudder, which we didn't get a medal, so we have nothing to like prove.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll put up some pictures or something. But we ended up doing the Tough Mudder, which was a 5K, right?
Yeah, it was a 5K.
Yeah. And I remember, I'll never forget when we were warming up, we were already kind of close to the start line. And I'll never forget Jonathan jumping up like a little bunny. He was just excited to like get going. And I remember we did that, and it was I honestly didn't know what to expect. And at the point, I don't even think I think I was running 1 mile at most.
We were already gassed out because we had to run like for the first obstacle, I think it was already like a mile.
It was
About a mile.
We were
Yeah.
like
about a mile.
already like, okay, well, I'm done here. You know, it was hard. It was actually hard.
For the first one that we ever did, yeah.
Yes.
Because I don't think we knew what we were getting ourselves into. And the Tough Mudder, if you guys have never done it, it's just a whole lot of holes with muddy water in it. You're going into holes with muddy water. You're climbing out of holes with muddy water. You're climbing over walls of mud. Like, that's why I guess why it's called the Tough Mudder. And then,
the cold water too.
yeah, it was cold.
That was
and it wasn't that hot of a day. I think it was
November.
Lake Elsinore, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lake
that we
Elsinore
did it out. And it was November. Yeah, that was 2 years ago. 2 years ago we started this, and I remember we did it, and it was like a good challenge, and I think we all came out like, oh, like, yeah, this was awesome. Like, let's do something else. But I think for me personally, what kind of like killed it for the Tough Mudder was the electric fence. So again, if you guys have never done the Tough Mudder, the last thing that you guys do is an electric fence or electric like wires hanging. And it's no joke. Like you would think like, oh, like they're not going to actually like zap me. No. They zap you to the point like it stuns you.
Yeah, it
It
makes your
stuns you.
legs bent a little.
Yeah. And I'll never forget that this dude just like, I don't know why, but he loves pain. And he just opens his arms and just runs right into, he's like, I don't even care. I remember I was like trying to avoid all of them. At the very end, there's no avoiding. They put it all together.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, and I kind of like climbed out of there. Oh man, that was.
But for me, personally, I'm a man of getting the whole experience. So if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it all. Like I'm gonna feel everything, right? So I'm like, okay, this is the last thing. Cool. You know what is it? Oh, you're gonna get shocked, right? Okay, cool. 1,000, 10,000 watts, something like that.
Something like that.
Oh, okay. I wet my hands in the water and I like opened I ran. Like every shock made my knees bent a little bit.
You're the only crazy one.
I got shot like 6-7 times.
But the crazy thing is that you didn't stop. Most people like, and they stop and they drop.
Once already there, like you gotta go. It was good though. It was good. It was a good experience.
But I think after we did that, at least for me, again, I was just like, I'm not doing another Tough Mudder. If all the Tough Mudders end with this stupid electric thing, like I don't want to do it again. Like screw this. And that's when we started like, oh, let's do the Spartan. And I remember we were kind of nervous at first. We're like, oh, are we ready for the Spartan? Like it's more serious than the Tough Mudder, you know?
More upper body strength
like,
and all of that.
Yeah. We were looking at the obstacles, like, And then again, I don't remember who it was that like, there's always one that jumps first, you know? And then after that, we're all like little ducks that like behind the mother duck. We're like, okay, let's jump. And so we signed up for, I think it was a 5K, right?
The
That was the
5K. Yeah,
that was a
Riverside.
5K.
Riverside, yeah.
So we did that. That was great. And then after that, we did the stadium, which is this yellow one right here. And that one was the Anaheim Stadium. And with the Anaheim Stadium, the crazy thing is that we all put money on that race.
Oh yeah, that was.
So out of the Tough Mudder came a little bit of animosity. We did the 5K together, and we were okay. But for whatever reason, I think it was okay after this 5K in Riverside. We went to go eat like Chinese food or something like that, right?
Yeah,
and
Thai food.
it was Jonathan that said, "Hey, like let's put money on it."
Oh,
He's like,
yeah,
I think
yeah,
I
it
could
was
beat you
Jonah,
guys
yeah.
at the stadium. We're
Yeah,
like,
it was Jonah.
I'm like, I don't think you want to do that, bro. He's like, no, I want to do it. I want to do it.
Your attention was like high up here.
I
You're
was
like,
like,
"Let's
No,
do it."
no. Well, I originally I remember I was like, no, we shouldn't do it, and you guys were like, no. And when you guys kept pressing, I'm like, all right, I guess we're gonna do it then. And we all decided we're gonna put $100 on this thing. Now, here's the thing, and maybe we could talk about this a little bit. But from my perspective, I never saw it as like I want to take you guys' money. I always saw it as just like a motivation. Like now we have something to lose. Now it's not like. Because I think we can all say like, oh, like let's compete and let's do our best, you know, like let's see who's the best man. But to put a little skin in the game adds like a little extra like I'm gonna lose something that's valuable to me too. Like it's not just the pride, but it's like me having to actually hand somebody $100, and that definitely, at least for me, like added some spice to the game.
For me too.
yeah,
For me
definitely.
too.
Like I started training
When you put
for
money
reals.
on the line,
Oh yeah.
I want the money.
And around that time, I remember you had a knee injury, right?
Yes. I did.
You remember when this guy had a knee injury and he was just broadcasting to the world, I tore my ACL, man. I tore my. And they're like, you shouldn't be walking, bro, if you tore your ACL.
Oh, it hurt for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. But we all had skin in the game, and I remember when we started that one. For me, at least, I was nervous. Were you guys nervous for that one?
Yeah, definitely. For me, honestly, I think it was the push of something. I know it's like, oh, it's just $100. Maybe for some people not, but I felt that those $100 pushed me a lot.
Yeah.
You know, because if you guys remember, I was like probably the biggest guy in the group. You know, I mean, $100 put me down to almost 50 pounds. Bro.
Yeah.
So to me,
That was a
That's
win.
that's when you did your most drastic weight loss, right?
That's when I went down all the way to 283 from being 250. I mean, 183. Sorry.
You started at 250,
250.
and you ended at 183
I ended at 180
in a matter of months.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And that's the thing. So somebody might hear us and be like, "Oh, you guys put $100. Like friends shouldn't do that," and blah blah blah. But I think we all took it as just like motivation. It was something that gave us the motivation, the drive to just try our best.
Yeah.
And we did. Like, I mean, that one, I remember that one was the closest I think I was to passing out. For
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
Oh, the stadium. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that, like, all of us, we are very, very competitive. You know, we're friends, yes. But when it comes to competition, we're like, okay, I don't want to be the last one, or I want to win. I want to be the first one. You know, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna let David win or Danny or Jonathan. I want to take the money.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end, it was like between you and I, and we were just like
Thanks, bro.
back to back, back to back, back to back. You know, to where like I felt like passing out too, but I was like, okay, relax. You know.
Yeah.
And moment that just gives you an extra motivation. You know, that drive to like push harder. You know, and see, you know, what you can do. You know.
Yeah.
That mental strength, you know. So at the end of the day, it was good, you know.
Yeah.
It makes you better.
Yeah, and that's a great thing. I think there is a such thing as healthy competition between friends, and I think we use it to be able to push each other, you know. And sometimes it could come across as a joke, but sometimes it could come across as encouragement as well. Where this guy, I mean, whenever he does a race, he takes like 3 weeks after. And I give him about a week, but then after a week, I'm like, buddy, come on, let's get back into it. And he's like, I'm recovering, man. I'm recovering. I'm like, dude, it doesn't take you 3 weeks to recover. But like, again, like I'm joking around about it, but that's just like, you know, our way of like, come on, dude, get back on the horse. Like you got to get back into training.
Yes.
Because I think it's okay to lose like 1 week of just like rest or whatever. But when you get to the 2 weeks, that's when like you start seeing like the diminish of a little bit of like stamina or whatever it is, right? And if you guys don't know, the difference between a stadium and the other ones is the other ones are kind of like in a field. They're outdoor. Stadium is a stadium. Like you go to the Angel Stadium or the Dodger Stadium and they have the whole course. So you can imagine there is elevation gain in a freaking stadium. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was a lot of
Ramps.
stairs, ramps, like they make you go from the bottom all the way to the top and then all the way back to the
back
bottom
down.
and all the way to the middle. Like they make you go all over the place. It's tough. It's tough. And then, so anyways, we transitioned after to another 5K. We did a 10K outdoor. And then the last one that we just did was the 21K, which was like 5 or 6 days ago. And so we've kind of like given the foundation of like, you know, the races that we've done. And so what now I want to get into, and maybe the audience wants to hear, is what, for you guys, each of you, what made you guys first get into it? Get into the races, get into fitness, get into health, get into, you know, the whole diet and watching what you eat. What got you guys into that originally?
So I would say for me, and I had to be very careful because I cannot commit to everything, because once I commit, I'm 100% in. So I had to be very intentional in thinking, talk to my wife and say, is that something I can do? We're going to have the time, the training, and all of these things, right?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Once I commit, then I do it. So getting into fitness, I'm always been passionate about it. Like one of the things that I love is that for myself, I turn my feelings into energy. So I go to a gym and I work out. You know, I kind of deal with a little bit of not expressing myself, the best. I'm still working on it with my wife. But one thing for sure is that when I'm a little frustrated and she feels it, she asks me, "Have you worked out?" I'm like, "No, yeah, you need to work out." Yeah, that's exactly what she says. And then I work out. That's the best way to release my worries, my frustration, or even if I'm happy, it's okay. Like work it out.
Yeah.
It's good. So then getting into the races for me is more like a commitment. We don't commit at the end. We commit at the beginning. So we commit and we work out. We train for it.
Yeah.
We never train first and commit after. That doesn't work that way. You have to commit and train. So, for me, the races have been a lot more of motivation. Okay, I better be in my best shape for that race. Otherwise, I'm going to be miserable. And yeah, I've been training, but always something happens right before the race, whether you get sick or life events, something happened, and I'm like, man, I don't feel 100% ready. But okay, let's do it. And like just the last one for the beast, my daughter came when she was born at 29 weeks. So my wife was in the hospital for a couple of weeks. We couldn't sleep well. I couldn't train that way. Actually, I didn't train at all. And we were training for a race. It was so hard. So I didn't even think that I was going to do it. But then I thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, and I'm going to do it for my daughter that is in the incubator. She's fighting for her life, so I'm gonna fight on the course. We're gonna do it together. So right before the race, all the way to San Luis Obispo, I had that nut in my stomach. Man, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I don't feel ready. But then you're like, bro, you've been training for so long. You're ready. And that's the kind of friendship we have. We motivate each other when we feel down. And this is like for all aspects of our lives, not just working out.
Yeah.
Like we always have in our group chat, like we share our hearts out, and we always hear some motivation from one of us, and that's the beauty of this friendship. I mean, yeah, we motivate each other to work out, and that's a beautiful thing. But just in general, like, this is why we hang out. Or this is why we are friends, because we all bring something to the table, So that 21K, it was meaningful for me, but at the same time, it was hard because I felt like I still need a little more training. He was grow. Then from there, it was hard. 13 miles.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah. So how about you, Danny? Why did you start?
Well, for me, I think for me, it was mostly a health journey. It all started with you guys. It all started with motivation of wanting to do something as a group. But once we were in it, I felt that, my body was actually reacting better than before. My weight loss was pretty good. I started getting compliments from my wife. I was like, oh, okay, I like that.
Nice.
Feeling that it just makes you like, okay, I want to keep on going. That was with the 5K. We did it twice, and then I think that we got our kids involved. I remember. I think your kids did it before mine, which
Ava
was
and
Eliza.
Elijah, right?
Yeah, I think they did the stadium.
Yeah.
And Nathan
True.
as well.
Oh, Nathan
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, so I remember Eliza telling me, I want to do it too, I'm ready, Dad. I'm ready.
Yeah.
And she, she's the smallest one, I think, from the big kids. Until she turned 4, and we were like, okay, you're ready. Let's try it and give it a half a mile.
Yeah.
So I felt like, okay, it was a good experience for her. That's when I actually fractured my leg in a soccer game. I don't know. I don't want to mention names from that church, but yeah, I think I had a little meltdown there when I fractured my leg, because you guys were gonna do the 5K in Big Bear, and I felt like I wanted to do it so bad that I was like, I'm gonna run with my broken leg. I'm gonna run, and my wife and even Sam was like, nah, bro, you shouldn't do it. So I was like, this guy is bringing me down like he always does, but nah, I'm just kidding. I was like, okay, you know what, like I have to take care of myself, and Eliza did her first half a mile, and I felt like I want to do it with her, but she's the one who pushed me to be like, Dad, I want to do it with you, not with mom. And it pushed me. I was like, okay, even with a broken leg, I'm like, I'm just gonna do it. And it felt good, and I was like, I should have run the 5Ks, but I knew deep down I couldn't,
Yeah.
Same thing. I got better. You guys did the 10K after, and I was like, man, I so want to do it, and it just broke me in a way that I was losing myself into what we had built all together. But again, like, for me, has just been the health journey.
Yeah.
And I feel like my 21K in this year was a big step. Like from going from a 5K, while you guys did a 5K, a 10K, a 20 half marathon. I didn't do any of that, but keeping in mind my family, keeping in mind the health that that it helped me do get better. It made me want to do the 21K, and I achieved it. We did it. And I feel like it feels accomplished. I feels that we're doing the right thing, not only just for like my health for myself, but the legacy that we're leaving behind for our kids. I see my kid, I see Eliza, now Ezra, he's only 3 right now, but he's like, I can't wait to be 4 and run too. So I'm like, okay, like we're creating something in them that is motivational.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, that's the reason of doing it. And for the record, I came in 3rd place.
So the 21K, for the 21K.
Sorry, Jonathan. But yeah.
Maybe that's why he didn't show up.
Oh, bro. Got that.
Actually, they're 2 Jonas.
Yeah. But what I heard from you, Danny, was 2 things: the health thing, obviously, but also you did bring up something that kind of like surpassed while I was talking about everything, is getting our kids into it. That has meant a lot, like to see our kids. And I think your kids are the same way. Like right now that we did the 21K, my son was like, am I going to do it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I couldn't time it well. I didn't know what time I was going to fit, but I want to do it. And then his thing is like, he's competitive too. And he's like, you have more medals than me. I want more medals. He's like, I want to be at the same amount of medals as you. And I'm like, what do you want me to do, dude? But that has been like super special to have our kids. And I remember during the trip, you told me about a story with Eliza.
Oh, yeah.
That she did like the runathon, right?
Yeah, she did it in her school that she's going right now, which is pre-K. And yeah, like they did like in the parking lot, they did like this circles for them depending on the grade that they actually are. And her being in TK, yeah, the circles were smaller. But the fact that, well, I was at work, my wife was the one telling me, oh, like she's doing this, she's taking pictures and sending them to me. And I was like, how's she doing? She's like, she sends me a video where she's running and she's like, my wife is telling her, relax, slow down. And you can hear her little voice just like, I can't, I got this, Mom, I got this. And then she starts running and you just hear, I got this, I'm a Spartan girl. I'm like, oh, okay, putting that in her mindset, made her want to keep on going, you know? And just because we showed that to them.
Yeah.
So it made me feel good and proud of her.
Yeah.
You know, and then in part of the story that I was telling you is that I had that little voice in my mind that I knew that if I wanted to give up, I was gonna hear her voice saying, "I got this, I got this," and honestly, after my 09, that's when I felt her voice in my head, and I was like, "I got this, I got this," and yeah, we finished.
Yeah, that's so beautiful.
I think that just the fact that we are teaching our kids that you can conquer anything, you can achieve anything you want, as long as you are disciplined. You know, you set your mind to it. You know, we're doing something good. You know, we're doing something good. Not only for, like, when we do all of these for our families, you know, is to set them up for life out there when they grow up and they have obstacles in their lives. You know, they're like, okay, I got it. You know,
Yeah.
I can do this. You know, so teaching them that working hard is the way to do things. You know, is actually good.
Yeah. Yeah. And the one thing that I've always kind of thought about is, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this or ever heard it maybe from an uncle, from a father or whatever. But I hear a lot of fathers be like, oh, like back in my day, like I used to play basketball like so good, or soccer really. I almost went professional in soccer, you know, like, you know, all these crazy things that they used to do. But now that they're older, they don't really do it. And so they always talk about the glory days, right?
Right.
And what I really want is I want my kids to understand what we did. Like 21K is no joke. To do 21Ks and like the thing, like in the course that we did with all the hikes and all the uneven ground and the 30 obstacles. But I'm like, more than just, I want them to understand, like, I also want this, as I grow older, I still want to do something where they're like, he's not talking about his glory days. He's still talking about his present day, that he's still doing these things, you know? Yeah. I don't want to be that dad like, oh, back in my day when I was 30, you know, like, no, right now I'm still doing it, you know? And I see sometimes on Instagram, I see like videos of like 80-year-olds finishing an Ironman, a freaking Ironman, dude. Like, you see like 70-year-olds doing marathons all the time. It's just like
the guy that we saw on Big Bear.
Yeah, that's right.
He was doing the 21K this time. It was a big
he's
medal.
ran for like 60 times already.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
And then one thing so before we came on here, I actually sent some of the questions to Jonathan and I asked him, hey, you know, if you have any answers, I'd like to read them. And one of the things that he said, similar to what we've been talking about right now, was Jonathan said, my reason has changed since we started. My reason now is more so for myself and my family. Myself and the aspect of the health aspect, and for my family would be to bring some sort of we can do it. For my kids to say I can do it, to believe that they can do things if they set their minds to it, to work hard for success. We have a saying going around the house, which is, I'm a Spartan. We are Spartans. And though I know they think they can't do something, they just say, I'm a Spartan. I can do it.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
And so the influence that we're having on our kids, and I think also the influence that we were having on the community that's surrounding us. Because I remember for the stadium win, we went from just us four to like signing up, like almost 10 people, I think.
10 people.
Yeah. And then we're like, oh, like, yeah, I want to do it. I want to do it.
And different ages.
Yeah, different ages. And so that's the other thing, the influence that we have by doing this. Like people are seeing, like, I think maybe they look at us and like, well, if these guys can do it, we could do it too, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
But like, hey, that's a motivation to start, you know? And then one thing that I heard you say, Sam, which is there's this, I follow this one page that always does like very dramatic, like samurai, like posts or whatever. And one I remember, I'm probably butchering the saying, but it was almost like, if you bleed more in training, you'll bleed less in the battle. And it's what he was saying, like the more that you train before, the less that you'll suffer actually in the training. And that's 100% true. Because I do remember for the 10K, me and this guy did it together. And for that one, I didn't train as much as I should have. And that one, I had to I was getting a little bit mad at Sam because you know Sam, he's like a super nice guy, great heart, whatever. And he was just there waiting with me. And I'm like, dude, just go. If you could go, just go. Like, leave me in your dust. He's like, no, man, no, I'm going to go at your pace. And I'm like, oh, because there was two reasons. One, I just wanted him to try his best. But two, also, the more that he stays there, the more I feel responsible that I need to start running again. And I don't want to freaking run. But I remember I was out of shape for that one. This guy was just like, come on, man. You know, like all the hills that we were hitting is like going up them fast. And I'm like, ah. But that's been amazing. So, okay. I feel like we've all kind of like talked about whether if it was in the 21K or the stadium one or whichever one that you want to bring up. But has there ever been a point where you're like, why the heck am I doing this? I should just quit. And if you felt that, what has been your process through that?
See, for me, I think my most recent one was going to be the 21K. You know, you remember those big hills.
Yeah.
It's like you're going up and you're like, okay, that's it. You know, like it looks like it's going to be like a flat area.
Yeah.
And then you just see going down and then you're going to have to go up again because you can see ahead of you where the rest of the people are. I felt that was my breaking point where I was like, why? Like, why am I doing this? Mm-hmm. Like, never again. I was like, I don't care if I lose my friends. I was like, never again. But yeah, like I said, like my motivation was actually Eliza.
Yeah.
You know, like her little boy saying, I can do this. I'm a Spartan girl. You know, I was like, yeah, if she can do it, if she feels that she had the strength to continue going just because she sees me going through it, I'm like, I have to continue doing it because one day she's going to see back and be like, okay, like run something as big as what we did. Because I know that's where it's going. You know, she likes it. And when she gets to that point and feels the same way, she's going to remember, well, my dad did it. Why can't I?
Yeah.
You know, so for me, it's like that.
Yeah.
That point.
Well, for me, I think it is also the 21K. Since I felt like I wasn't 100% prepared and I was catching up with you, we were like mile 6. Hey, bro, I think we can do it in 2 hours. I'm like, all right, bro, let's do it. You know, like, I'm like, bro, 2 hours and 31 minutes. We could do it.
Yeah.
You know, and then we started running and running. Then, you know, it started taking more time. On mile 11, I was breathing so hard. And even you said, bro, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. Are you really okay? Yeah,
I wish
bro.
you would just tell the truth though. Because are you? I'm like, are you okay? Can we slow down? You're like, no, don't you dare slow down.
Yes. Hardcore. We have to be hard, you know, on ourselves, you know? That was the one for me.
But like, so when you were going through like that hard, like, I don't know, it was like, to me, I heard it around like almost like a mile left. That's when I heard you like start like, but like when you got to that point where you're probably like in your mind or you're just like, just walk. Or I don't know what's going through your mind when you're going through that tough time. Like, is it stop? Is it walk? Is it take a break? Is it quit?
I hold myself to high standards, and I don't allow myself to sit down. If I said I'm gonna jog, I'm gonna jog, not walking. So I'm like, no, I'm not gonna allow to do that. I'm not gonna allow myself to sit down and lay down and just relax. The moment I do that, I'll stay like that, and I probably won't get up.
Yeah.
So for me, it's no, we keep going. And I kept telling you, I'm just pushing through the pain, pushing through the pain. It was a lot of pain. I was cramping up. My legs, my knees were like really in pain. And no, we kept going. You know, like we finished.
Yeah.
You know, we finished together. Maybe you could have finished a little earlier, but I feel like kind of you waited for me a little bit. You know? So I'm like, bro, don't be easy on me. Go, come on, let's go.
I know. I'm just like expecting him to say like, yeah, slow down a little bit. He's like, no, don't go easy on me. Just keep going. And I'm like, okay, Goggins, relax.
Yes. Yeah, I have very high standards for myself.
So like for you, it'd be like, you like a personal integrity. Like you said, the very least that you're going to do is jog. You're not going to do anything less than that.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. And so for me personally, I think the worst time that I felt was probably like the 10K. That's I think the no, actually, you know what? That and the if you guys have never done Big Bear, you should leave that for last.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Even the
That was
5K,
horrible.
that mess was tough. Actually,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna change my answer. Not the 10K, the 5K. That mess was freaking hard. And so this year we kind of mapped it out, and we're like, okay, let's start off with the 10K. I think it was Temecula. Then let's do the 5K and Big Bear, because I was trying to map out because they only do like so many 5Ks and so many 10Ks and so many beasts in California. So we had to map it out, right? And I'm like, I think this is what will work the best: 10K in Temecula, then 5K in Big Bear, because I already knew Big Bear was going to be tough. Where my biggest issue was, I didn't really pay attention to where in Big Bear it was, and it was on a ski resort.
Yeah.
And just like there's no such thing as a flat ski resort. It's all incline. And that did not register in my mind. Had it registered, I would have just like caution, warning, let's all do incline every day because we're in for it. But that one I remember. We started off all kind of jogging, but the jogging lasted like what, a minute, 2 minutes, and then we started just hiking. Because this mess I felt like it was a mile, but I don't think it was even a mile, but it felt like the longest thing ever. It was like just, I don't know, almost like 45-degree angle just going up. And we're like hiking. And at that point, I didn't have a watch, so I didn't know what my heart rate was. But if I had to guess, I was at like 170, 180, like the whole time going up. And the 5Ks that we've done before, I think the first 5K that we did was like an hour. The stadium, we did like under an hour. The other 5K, the 5K at Big Bear ended up being more than 2 hours, which was insane. And that just tells you.
Ours was like 3 hours and a half.
Yeah, it was insane. And I think that one, when I got to the very top, finally finished like the incline, my back was killing me. And the thing is, after you finish the incline, you have to carry the sandbag, and they made you climb a little bit more, but they made you climb on snow and ice. And I'm like, these freaking jerks. Like, they couldn't pick any other spot to do the stupid sand. I remember that was the one and only time in the Spartan where I actually put down the sandbag, and I'm like, I can't do this. And I was getting scared. I'm like, am I even gonna finish this? This is a stupid 5K. Like, I've done a 10K before, like a 5K. And that's where like the mental battle started coming in. And I remember I was like, should I just stop? Should I quit? Like, should I fake an injury? Like, should I call like the first aid to come pick me up and take me back? And that's no joke. Like, I'm serious. And that was the worst part. I got through it, but I think I took like at least 2 breaks. So I did the ice part, and then finished that, and then there just kept being more incline. They brought you down, just like you were saying. They brought you down just to bring you back up, and it's just like it was so annoying. And I think the only thing that carried me was, honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest, it was pride. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it was just pride. I'm like, at one point I was just like, I'm not going to be no punk. Like, am I going to be the one that quits? The only one that ever quits? I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm just going to push to the pain, you know? And I remember finishing, but I was so grateful after, because the last thing that they make you do is the bucket carry. And I remember when I finished the bucket carry, like, I just tossed that thing. They're like, no, stack it. I'm like, screw that. I just threw it. I'm like, screw that. I'm going to the finish line. I'm done with this stupid thing. And, but the point is, like, we've definitely had hard times. And I guess the next question is, like, what has these Spartan races, these half marathons, everything that we've done, like, what have they taught us? What have they taught you guys? Like, if you guys really had to reflect on it, like, what has it taught you about who you are as a man? What has it taught you about who you are as a champion? What has it taught you about life? What has it taught you about what you can handle or can't handle? Like, what has it taught you guys?
Well, for me, I would say that it really has shown me what I'm made of. You know, man, if I can handle that, I can definitely handle something else in my life. If I can do that, I have the strength to do this. You know, the mental strength, you know, the capability. If I do that, if I could do that, then I can deal with, problems at home, problems at work. All of these things are, problems that can be solved. For me personally, um, I like to be disciplined, and I like to be like, motivation is it's just part of it. But I cannot do things out of motivation. It has to be more self-discipline, and like doing the races, working out makes me more disciplined, and makes me more what can I say, like, it really brings the best out of me. Like, it brings the more the more responsible man at home, the more responsible man at work, a better friend. It brings the good qualities that I have. That's what, all these races really, taught me.
Yeah. How about you, Danny?
To me, what I have learned is that discipline is actually what makes the athlete an athlete. You know, and it comes into reality in life. Discipline is what makes us as leaders of our homes show the responsibility that we have, and where we can take things. I took these races kind of like as well in example of life, where the longer you wanna, the farther you wanna go, and the longer the trips become, the harder it gets. Um, but it's just a sweet moment when you actually achieve it, and you get to the final finish line, and feel that your discipline, your hard work, like Sam says, paid off.
Yeah.
I think that's what I learned. Discipline, main thing for me. And that's pretty much what I've learned through this whole process.
Adding a little more when it comes to working out, like, that's what I said, that motivation is not everything, because sometimes I don't feel motivation. And then I'm thinking, okay, should I work out? It's early in the morning. I wake up early to work out. I read a book. I have some time for myself. 5:30, 6 I work out. 7 I help my wife with my daughter to go to school and everything. But then I'm thinking, like, should I work out? Then I follow some rules that I have. If my mind tells me don't work out, then I work out. I'm like, no, I'm gonna work out. Then if my body tells me don't work out, then I'm like, okay, maybe I slow down. I'm still gonna work out, but I'm gonna take it easy.
Yeah.
Maybe my body is a little sore, or I need some more rest. I still work out, but I take it easy.
Yeah.
So I have that always no. There's no way I'm not gonna do the things that I do every day, because it takes discipline to do it.
Yeah.
Because you have a goal, and that move, like, pass on to other aspects in your life, So that's basically.
I just want to add this. I think I also learned that you can't always do things alone. I learned that fellowship with you guys is what gave each of us motivation to continue and keep on going.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Sam says, there's moments that you feel like I don't want to work out. I don't want to continue going. Like, why am I doing this for? But just remembering, like suddenly a text of one of us will come up and be like, hey, I just did this. And it just became like something positive, and it just made each other like, okay, well, he's doing it. Let's do it. Let's continue going. So fellowship, finding your tribe.
Yeah, for sure. I would 100% agree. And I've learned that mostly in the running aspect. I feel like when I run alone, I'm just like, eh. But when I run with friends, I don't know why, but it's just like, I don't even notice time. I don't notice like my heart rate or whatever. I'm just like, yeah, I'm running with my friends. Like, I've seen it so many times on Instagram where they say like running with people is so much easier than running by yourself. And like that's true in actual running, and that's true in life as well. And like I think that's been part of like the blessing of us having like each other to be like, oh, let's do that race, or let's do this next challenge or whatever. Because again, it's like one hops into the pool, we're all like, I guess we're hopping in too. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, like when we hop into the pool, it's almost like the analogy, like we're either going to sink or we're going to swim. And it's up to us, like how hard we're going to work at swimming, you know? And the discipline part, I 100% agree. Motivation is feelings, and feelings aren't always right. To do something right, whether you feel like it or not, is the discipline part. And especially like Sam was saying, like to be ready for these races, we have to be disciplined. Like if we're not disciplined, if we're kind of like, oh, we'll work out here and there and we'll see how it goes, then we end up suffering during the races, and we're like, what the heck did we get ourselves into? And then you get that wake up call, and then when you're suffering, you're just like, I wish I would have trained a little bit more. Yeah. I wish I wouldn't have taken that one day off or whatever, you know, like. But I am gonna call Sam a little bit of a liar, because he says he takes it easy on some sort of workouts, and I've never seen this dude take it easy on any workout. If I'm scared of working out with anybody, it's this man right here.
Oh, yeah.
Because this dude does not take it easy ever. I remember, okay, I'm going to tell a story. First time I ever run double digits. I run with this guy and another friend named Caesar. And I told him I've never run double digits. The most I've run is 8 miles. They're like, all right, we're going to get you to double digits or whatever. Long story short, we get to 10 miles and they're like, oh, congratulations, you had double digits. And they all give me a fist bump. And the moment they give me a fist bump, they look at each other and they go, you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, let's go. Boom, gone. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm not going to try to keep up with you guys.
You know, funny thing, because we know you, like we know each other really good, right? Like all of us.
Yeah.
Because we know you, Caesar's like, should we wait for David? Nope. That's his motivation.
Yeah.
We take off and we leave him behind. Watch. You know, and yeah, sure enough.
Yeah.
Look at you now. You know?
No, that's always been a motivation. And again, it's never been like, oh man, freaking Sam like left me in his dust or whatever. Like, oh, like I thought he was my friend or whatever. It's never been like, I'm gonna beat him and I'm gonna smoke him and I'm gonna teach him a lesson or whatever. It's never been like that. But just to see you, I'm like, if this dude can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not there yet. But give me a couple of weeks, I'm gonna get there.
Yes.
And it's just like the motive. Again, I think I'm very pride driven. I'm not gonna lie. And the pride, competition, whatever. But like, I'm very driven. And again, it's not for the sake of like, I told you, Sam.
Not all of us are the same though.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. 100%.
But because I know you, I told Caesar, no, don't wait for him.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be his motivation.
And it was.
It was,
dude. I was just like, all right, I need to, work out more. And that was when we were training for the half marathon, and there was only 3 of us doing the half marathon. Yeah. And at first I was just like, you know what, they're going to beat me, like it is what it is. I'm going to go on my pace. I'm not going to kill myself. But then again, a part of me was just like, you're going to be the slowest one.
And who ended up first?
You're going to be last place. And I'm like,
that was your wise voice.
That is part. Yeah. Dude, every time I finish a race, Did you beat everybody? I'm like, yes. Oh my goodness.
That's her, yeah. But hey, you ended up first. There you go.
Yeah. But and the other thing I think that we've learned, at least I've learned with these races, is strategy is a big part of it as well. Mm-hmm. So it's not just working out hard for the sake of working out. You got to have a plan. Because if you're just like, let's say you work out, like there's some people that just feel like work out hard, but they don't realize like your body needs rest, it needs recovery. Like, yeah, you can work out on those recovery days, but it should be much lighter. It should be, you keep your heart rate very low or whatever, like maybe even yoga. But there's some people that just like work, and it's all about strategy, especially for the long distance one. You have to have a strategy, and if you don't have a strategy, it's just like
you're done.
No, you might burn yourself out, and you won't even see the finish line, or you're going to suffer getting to the finish line. So I think that's another thing that we've picked up. Let's see, what are some benefits other than the ones that we've talked about that you guys have seen from doing these races and having this community of doing these races and being healthy and having this brotherhood, really?
Well, for me, the ultimate benefit for me is longevity. I want to keep going until I grow old and I'm still able to do things with my kids, grandkids, or whoever. Like for me, that's the ultimate goal. Do this as a lifestyle, and keep going. So that's mainly what I think it is.
Okay. How about you, Danny?
Yeah, I honestly don't have a different answer than just the health part and the motivation to giving other people and our families.
Okay.
I honestly don't know what else.
And then looking back at everything that we've accomplished, both personally and as a group, how has the view of yourself changed, if at all? Has it changed?
Oh yeah, for me, yes, 100%, and probably you guys can even agree on that, because I never saw myself as a runner, and I'll text back to Sam and you guys like, stop pushing me to run. I'm not a runner. I'm not gonna run with you guys.
Yeah.
Until that time that I was like, hey, who wants to go and do some miles at the beach after work, and Sam was the only one who wasn't able to go. But it just changed. Like this journey completely changed me, like into being more positive, into being like, okay, I'm gonna experience and I'm gonna do things that I never thought that I will ever do. I never saw myself putting myself into torture for no reason, because that's what it is. You run a race for what, like for a medal.
Yeah.
But like I'm completely different in my eating as well. My wife can say that, like I just have a different motivation in myself and everything, or the way that I see life. So it has completely changed me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, they, how can I say, like, before all the races and community and all of that, I used to go to the gym like all the time. Like even before I met you guys, and always I wanted that body, like super muscular guy, like 6-pack and all of that. So I was like, I want to get to that goal, But then as we get together, we exchange ideas, we do things like the way we do, and we research, because we do a lot of research. It comes down to, I don't want to do that body anymore. I just want to be healthy.
Yeah.
I just want to be healthy. In reality, it's true, because even when you want to do like a marathon, you cannot sustain those muscles. Like I lost a lot, but it's okay, because like I put it this way, I lost my muscles, but I gained something, and it's that the knee pain is gone.
Yeah.
So that running, stretching, warming up, like helped me with my knee pain, and it's gone. So I will give up all my gains for having a healthy knee.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I don't think it's just having that body is the way to do things. It's more than that. It's way more than that. And that's my personal opinion. I know we're all different and we think differently, right? But for me, it used to be like that. But now it's more, okay, a healthy lifestyle. I do my runnings, I do my workouts, lean out, and be good, So that has changed a lot,
Yeah.
the way I saw myself before and now.
Yeah.
Dad bods are okay.
I think when it comes to like bodies, I'm just like, if it functions well, it doesn't really matter. Because the thing is, okay, from my perspective, I think the view of bodies that they sell us, it's all fake, I remember this one dude that recently passed away. I think it was like last year or the year before that. He was like a German dude. I don't know if you've seen him, but he's just jacked. He's the one who could, like, his pec muscles look like they're just like strings, and he can move them like this. Anyways, he recently passed away. But before he passed away, he did an interview, and he said, I'm going to tell you guys all the truth. First of all, I'm obviously on on steroids and stuff, right? He's like, as a bodybuilder, you only get 3 choices. One, you're natural, and you're big. Number 2 option, you're natural and you're ripped. Number 3 option, you're steroids and you're big and ripped. He's like, but you cannot have all 3 of them. You cannot be big and shredded and be natural. And so hearing that kind of like put it into perspective for me. I'm just like, yeah, we're just chasing like a magazine picture that, you know, they keep putting in front of us. Like, this is what you need to look like. This is what you need to look like. Mm-hmm. But what's more than looks? I mean, looks are going to fade. I want my body to function. I want it to, and you asked the question, like, why do we do this for a medal? And I think for me personally, one of the reasons why I do these races is, for me, I always use the analogy of like a mountain. And for me, the race is kind of like the summit of the mountain. It's kind of like the validation of all the hard work I put in before that moment. You know, it's the validation that I was disciplined, that I was disciplined in the working out. I was made a good plan. I was disciplined in the eating, that eating healthy, giving me like a lot of energy, that I slept good. Like, it's the culmination of all that. And then when you actually do the race, that to me is like the test. And it's like, you're putting everything that you just did before that to the test. And let's see if you can pass it. And if you pass it, do you pass it with flying colors, or do you pass it with a B or whatever, right? And I think it's just the validation. Like, this time around, this 21K, I think it was mostly the endorphins, but I do also think it was like also the sense of accomplishment, that when I crossed that line, I almost started crying.
Oh yeah, you said
like
that.
For real, it's like almost started crying. And I looked back, and for a second I looked back, and I kind of just like, I don't know if this is being dramatic or whatever, but I kind of saw like the whole journey flash. And I'm just like, it all leads to this one point, and I just crossed the line, you know, like all the hard work, all like the tests that I've gone through, like all the ups and downs, like life is gonna life. We're normal dads with regular families, with wives that, you know, try to tell us what to do and when to do it, how to do it, whatever. We have to jump through all these obstacles. We work regular jobs, like, and to like cross the line of a 21K, doing a good time, like that for me, it was just like, that for me is just like, it's like the validation of like, I did it, you know? And then also like, I saw this guy coming behind me, and then I thought about, you know, why he told me before he did the race, why he was doing the race. And that got me too. I'm just like, oh my goodness. I'm like, shake it off, David, shake it off. And Grace was actually like, you should have cried, and then you should have hugged Sam, and you guys could have just cried together. And I'm like, in front of all those people? I'm like, I don't know about that. But yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why
we had cried together though.
Yeah.
You know, before.
Yeah. But I think that's one of the reasons why I personally do it, is just like, I feel like there's some people, I don't want to say that I look down upon them, because I don't. But I'm like, if you work out, for what reason? Like, why do people work out? You know, like, is it just for the physique? Okay. If it's for the physique, most of the time it's because you want people to look at you and be like, wow, you know, like, but what good are those muscles, you know, like if you've never put them to the test,
exactly.
You know? And I feel like doing like some sort of competition is putting it to the test. You're comparing yourself to other people, and you're going to try your hardest, you know, like, and maybe it's not a comparison, because I like what you said before. You're like, this race is not a race against you guys or anybody around here. Mm-hmm. This race is me against me, yes. Me against the old Danny, yep. And see where I am now. And like, for you to go, before we started this podcast, I was talking to Danny, and I was like, yo, where's your 2024 medals? You're like, I only have one. Like, I came to the realization you hadn't done any other races this year. You just went 2024. I'm just gonna jump into the 21K. I'm not even gonna ramp up to it. Yeah. Just gonna do it.
That was hard.
And then you ended up being third place.
Yeah.
And the average time for that race is 4 hours and 45 minutes.
That's the hard part. All of these guys, we always look at the races, and we look at the average time.
Yeah.
And we always want to be above the average.
100%.
And it's like, oh man, you know, like, really? You know, we thought, okay, we're going to finish in 4 hours, right? Mm-hmm. So we actually finished it in 3 hours and a half.
3 hours, 19 minutes. And,
3 hours, 19
and
minutes.
Danny finished it in 4 hours, 5 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
killing the average by 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, like you compare that to old Danny. Could old Danny ever have done that?
No,
Yeah.
no, man.
And like that's the beauty and the benefit of doing this together, motivating each other,
Yes.
being like, okay, let's do this, and like jumping into something. And honestly, like I was telling you guys before the podcast as well, like I never saw when we first started like these Spartan races, I never saw myself doing the 21K. Never. That mountain was way too big for me, and we did it, and I'm just like, I'm honestly now scared of like what's next.
Yeah.
Because like at the race you were talking about, oh, like I want to do all of it in one weekend. I'm like, that's a huge challenge. This guy's talking about doing a triathlon or an ultra or whatever, and I'm like, that's a huge challenge. I'm like, when is it gonna ever end?
Yeah.
And maybe it never ends. You know, like maybe we just keep getting better and better.
Yeah.
And maybe that's part of us practicing like, okay, more discipline. How much more can we grow? But also, it also practices like faith. You know, like when you don't feel like you could do something, and then you jump into it, and you're just like, God, you know, like I'm gonna do my part, but please help me because
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do this. You know,
Yes.
it is scary. Having that scare factor is a big motivator too. Just like, all right, like before I get to there, like what Dan or what Sam was saying, like I need to put in the work or else I'm going to suffer in it. I don't want to suffer. I know I'm going to suffer a little bit, but how much do I want to suffer? You know? Okay. So what advice would you guys give to somebody that, let's say somebody who has been talking about like, oh no, on Monday I'm going to start. On Monday I'm going to start, and they never start. And they know, because I think a lot of people know like what the right things are that they should do, what things they shouldn't eat, what things they should eat, how they should work out, that they should work out at least 3 or 4 times a week. Or the people that are like, oh, like, you know, I'd like to get into Spartans, you know, like, and I liked what you guys are saying. Like, yeah, I want to get into it, but I'm a little scared. Like what motivation would you, what encouragement would you guys give to somebody like that?
Okay, so I will start. First, you start now. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until next Monday. Oh, the following Monday. No, you start now, and you set up a plan. You start little, like the book. You know, the Atomic Habits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you start by show up at the gym every day. Show up and go back home. You start with that, and little by little, you increase. You increase, and get better. Stay 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Do one run. Do a little bit of weight. And that's how you start building the habit. The more you build the habit, the more your body is going to crave it. The more your body is going to need it. And then once you get those results, your body is not going to want to go back and just continue. That's one of them. Second, personally, I don't eat for taste. I eat for fuel. And you guys know. So I eat for fuel, so I give my body what it needs, not what it wants. And it's hard because those chicken breasts are tasteless. You know, they're really bad, you know, but that's what my body needs. So when it comes to doing the Spartan races, I would say that is, like my main thing is mental strength. Why do I say that? Because there are a lot of people that are dealing with like depression and some other, problems. So once you conquer an obstacle on the course, or once you finish, you pass that finish line, you're like, okay, if I did that, I can for sure conquer this depression.
Yeah.
I can for sure deal with that problem that I have at home, financial problems, some other problems, marriage problems. I can for sure do all of that. But all I need is mental strength. That for me, I think that is the main thing, mental strength. And if I can exercise that muscle and become better, I can do other things in my life. Or at least I can feel that it's easier than before.
Yeah. How about you, Dai?
Yeah. I think for me, my best advice would be, it doesn't matter when or how you're gonna do it. just find that motivation that's gonna push you through. Find that reason that you want to do it for. I think that the best thing that it is for any person is just surround yourself with people that are hungry, that are gonna push you no matter what, and somebody who's gonna keep you accountable.
Yeah.
You know, I never thought of saying this, but you know, like I'm never being a person that likes to be pushed. You know, and you guys seen it. I'm like I shut down, but in this situation, I actually feel the opposite, and that's where I grew in a way where I do notice that having somebody making you feel accountable is the best way of going. You know, and like Sam said, it doesn't matter how long, how much time it takes. Even if you're gonna go to the gym, let's say for like 5 minutes, and I say that in my personal example, because I will wake up and I'll be like, oh man, it's already time. If I go right now, I'm gonna be there for like a whole hour. Let me go sleep 10 more minutes, and then time will pass, and then I'm like, no, I have to go. I kept that in my mind. I have to go. And I'll make it for like 10, 15 minutes. And I was like, okay, well, I have 15 minutes to give it my all. And I did. And that gave me the what's it called? The discipline to continue doing it. And now it's up to an hour. But accountability with other people, the best thing that you can do and find.
Yeah, and I think going off of what you said, Danny, consistency isn't just so linear. Sometimes the consistency is I showed up to the gym for 15 minutes, but I went. Maybe the next day you show up for 1 hour. Maybe the next day you don't feel like it again, but you showed up for 15 minutes. And like the bar might be going a little bit lower, a little bit higher, but guess what? You're still moving forward, you know?
Right.
And that's the whole point. And then like what you were saying, Sam, this definitely teaches you to be mentally strong. It definitely teaches you that you can handle more than you thought. You know, like I honestly never thought I would ever run a half marathon or do the 21K. And I'm sure maybe you guys feel the same way. And it's just like, now we're doing it. It's like, and that's why I asked the question about the reflection part. Like, how do you see yourselves? And it's just like, now we can see ourselves. We can do harder things that we ever thought that we could do. And now like our horizon is starting to broaden even more, where you guys are like, let's do the all trifecta all in one weekend. Let's do an ultra. Let's do a triathlon or whatever. It's just like it's starting to the horizon starting to broaden. Why? Because now we're believing that we can do these things, that we've kept pushing the boundary and we've kept being able to do it. So it's just like, who's to say that we can't do more, you know? And in the same way that translated into life as well, like exactly what Sam was saying, like life is going to life. Things are going to happen. But if you're like, if I could go through this, like all this is reinforcing of the person that I am. I am a champion. I am a hard worker. I am somebody who pushes through. I am somebody who has perseverance and grit. Like I can go through this, you know? Yeah. And I feel like that for sure is a huge part of it. And I guess similar question, but a little bit different. To the dad or to the mom that says that they don't have time. They might have 2 kids, 1 kid. Again, life is going to life. And I know that you two especially have had schedules that like change drastically. Yeah. How do you guys manage that through still going through this whole health journey?
I mentioned before, I wake up at 5:30. So I read a book for 30 minutes, drink my coffee, and then I work out for an hour. 7, come back, and then I do my routine, take my daughter to school, go to work, and come back. In my early weeks, when I go to work early and I come back home earlier, then I work out afternoon. Then, and the beauty of it is that my daughter comes into the gym because I have my gym in the garage, and she wants to like do some things, work out, like do the bike and all of that, or do the treadmill. You know, we just have a moment there together. And then after that, I was like, okay, go. I have to work out. You know, she's just there like, oh, let me do that. And I'm like, okay, we're going to work out together, but now let me work out. So you go play with your toys. And then she goes. But we have a moment. So I have to manage all of that. I have to be a dad. I have to be a husband. I have to work, and I have to have my me time, some time for myself, So I have to be intentional in waking up early when everybody is sleeping and do my things. That's the only way I could do it, Like that requires a lot of discipline, and building habits is what makes it happen, having stacking, where you put a good habit and then you put another habit. And then these two habits get together and becomes a whole routine. Drinking my coffee, it's something that I enjoy. Then I read my book. Coffee gives me a pump, and then I go work out. So all of that combines into one whole routine, and that's the way I go. Every day.
How about you, Danny?
For those parents that are struggling with time and excuses, basically, I feel like don't allow yourself to surround yourself with excuses. The balance will never look equal, no matter what. Life is gonna be always here, and your needs or wants are always gonna be lighter, just because life is harder when you have a family. I'm a parent of 2 kids. Like to run a little with my schedule, like the only time that I have is to wake up at 5 in the morning and go to the gym, make it to work by like 7:30, 8, then come home and do another shift with my kids, help my wife as well. So it's never gonna be easy, but there's always time for everything. And as long as you have discipline, it's always gonna start balancing little by little. It never started that easy for me. It was once a week to go to the gym and try to balance it. Now I made it work where my body doesn't feel that lazy either, and now it's almost I can go almost the whole week. And it's gonna start getting lighter and lighter as you stop putting excuses.
Yeah.
So it's mostly don't let it bother you that your schedule will look heavier, as long as you start at any point of your life.
Yeah. So what I heard you guys say is basically like where there is a will, there is a way. Like if it really matters to you, you're gonna make the time for it.
And also having a why,
Yeah.
having a why, it is going to be good for your family. It is going to be good for yourself. Like why do I want to do this? And that why has to be greater than the excuses, because we all have busy schedules, but that why is gonna keep you there. It's gonna keep you going, especially when it comes to family, even health. Like Danny said, that why it's important.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is you shouldn't be comparing yourself to other people. Because some people that are like, on Monday I'm going to start. But then their thought is, when I start on Monday, I'm going to start like the guy that I would just watched on Instagram that does like a 2.5 hour workout. And then they go, I don't have enough time to do a 2.5 workout. But if I want to look like that guy says I have to work out for 2.5 hours. So I might as well not work out, And for a lot of us, especially the ones that are parents, that have jobs, that have all the extracurricular stuff, sometimes it's going to look like what Sam said. You kind of have to ramp up. Like maybe you start off with 15 minutes and then you notice, I could probably add another 5 minutes. Then the next week you do 20 minutes every day and 25 and then 30, and you start ramping up like that. And then you'll end up seeing like what actually works. Like, I think an hour can work. And that's probably the max that I could do. Just like, okay, cool. It is what it is. Then it's just all about consistency and then making the most, the best plan that you can for the time that you have. But like Danny said, like, don't like give into the excuses. If you're giving into excuses, it's kind of telling us you don't really want to do it. And if you don't really want to do it, just say it. I don't want to do it, and it is what it is. Maybe one day you will want to do it. Yeah. But if there is a will, if it's really important to you, if you feel like I want to make this change in my life, I want to get healthy, I want to surround myself with people, like do it. And if you surround yourself with people, it does become easier, because then you have your friends being like, I haven't seen any updates about you working out. You still working out? And you're just like, no, I took like 3 weeks off after the race.
Yeah. Especially David. You know, like he used to ask me, hey, bro, when are you going to start working out? I think maybe like in 2 weeks. When? Monday. Which Monday? Oh, this Monday. And then a few days before, hey, bro, remember that Monday you're working out? How do you know, bro? Whoa, I put I marked it on my calendar.
Yeah.
And like, really? You know? So accountability is important.
Yeah. But that it's possible. It's possible. I'm about to turn 35. Sam, you're
37.
Danny, you're
33.
33. We both, all three of us now have 2 kids.
Now we do. Yes.
Yeah, we have 2 kids. And so like we have 9 to 5 jobs. Sometimes you get off at like 8 o'clock.
Yes.
Your schedule changes like every single week.
Yes, every single week.
You work on Saturdays most of the time now too. It's just like that we got stuff to do. You guys who are listening that are saying like, no, they don't have the same life as me. Like, no. Like our schedules are crazy. We're fathers, we're workers, we're providers, we're all these things. It's just like, but we still make it happen.
Yeah.
And that we've seen the benefits of making it happen. We've seen the benefits of both just the brotherhood, of our health, of us learning more about like ourselves and each other.
Right.
And just seeing, honestly, and also seeing how God has been faithful in this whole process as well. And knowing that even in the times where we're like, I can't go on, we know that it was God that, hey, you still got the strength in you, you know, like your mind and your body might be saying like, stop, but your spirit, the spirit that I've given you says, keep going.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's been a benefit. And also I just want to thank you guys for taking the time to be on this podcast. Again, I thought it was a very important topic, and I hope that we can motivate other men or women that to get into this whole journey. And if you guys need any more tips, reach out to these 2 experts right here.
Danny right here.
And thank you very much for the time, guys.
No, thank you
really
for having
appreciate
us.
it.
For the invite.
And this is us signing off for the night. We will see you guys on episode 37. This one was a very special one. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.